The internet is a huge and complex place with a lot of different things to explore. If you ever go down a rabbit hole and find yourself looking at some weird and more sinister stuff out there, you might have heard about dangerous and exploitative cults around the world. They are definitely not something to mess around with, so in this video we are going to talk about what a cult is and how you can end up being a part of it without realizing, like some of the followers of the God's cult. The leaders of those cults are often cunning manipulators who can control their followers and make them as they wish. We could say they are master of puppets. They can swing their strings around anyone who is following them to do as they will. Sadly, there is a never-ending list of these groups, some more notorious than others. They often lure people in with promises of wealth, power, and a special kind of love and unity that can be only found within their organization. These same leaders can cause harm not only to their followers but also those around them. This video is dedicated to one person, one moment, a person who in my eyes can be considered as a cult leader. This is the story of MamaMax and the God's cult. MamaMax is a YouTuber who gained fame for his artistic video style and connections to other big YouTubers out there, from Mudahar, Charlie, Nexpo, and more. He's definitely a well-established name in the YouTube ecosystem. Some people who followed MamaMax were victims of abuse and sought a community where they could feel safe and have one person at least in their life who would try to make this world a better place. This video will show you how MamaMax, a person who desperately wanted to take down an alleged cult, managed to raise a cult of his own. In this video I will show you the definition of a cult, how they work, and how MamaMax used the same tactics to create a cult that is now crumbling down beneath his feet. This video will not dive into the drama that was unfolding the last months, nor it will be a story of his YouTube life, because those two topics were already covered on my channel. This video is for the people who are already a bit familiar with MamaMax. The purpose of this video is only to shed light on how MamaMax managed to use the most vulnerable people among us. After conducting some research, I have discovered several effective methods that cult leaders use to recruit members. I would like to review those methods and see whether they align with the approach used by MamaMax. Like always, thank you for tuning in. Also, special thanks to my Patreons, and I hope you will enjoy this video. What is a cult? Before we can dive into the God cult, we need to understand the concept of a cult. So, are you ready? Cults are for the most part small and tightly controlled groups led by self-appointed and charismatic leaders. Some of them are Charles Manson, Jim Jones, just to name a few. These leaders have a good control over their members and demanding unwavering devotion to a set of beliefs or ideologies. They would often tell you how they are relatives of Jesus, or how they can levitate, or were abducted by aliens. Anything goes here, just to be bigger than life itself. Again, this is just a short introduction. I will compare everything with the God cult as we dive deeper. Cults can take various forms, ranging from doomsday, destructive, to even political cults. If you remember, Max covered the Elfin cult, a Japanese new religion movement and a doomsday cult founded by Shoko Asahara in 1987. The cult carried out a deadly Tokyo subway attack in 1995, but MamaMax also covered the Assassins cult found in the RPG Maker game Canyon Quest 3030. With those two videos and the exposure he got, he saw how people do love darker content, and he switched from reviewing games and hentais to something a bit more important and noble. But why is that? Typically, cults attract people by offering something that is believed to be life-improving, such as a sense of community, security, or spiritual fulfillment. However, what is essential to forming a cult is a generally positive concept or idea that is worth investing time and energy into, and convincing others to see the good in it. Cult leaders are often extremely charismatic and possess a natural ability to inspire and influence others. The first thing we are going to take a look at is the leader of the God cult, known to us as MamaMax or Max Striker. Charismatic Leadership. Cults typically revolve around a charismatic leader who possesses strong and persuasive abilities, which are accompanied with charm and authority. These leaders often present themselves as having special knowledge, insight, or ability that set them apart from others. MamaMax was enough different with his style and his unique deep voice to not be put in a bucket with other normal YouTubers. His cause was just, and the thing he promoted were noble. He wanted to make the world a better place by hunting down predators and PDFs so children around the world would be safe. It was a cause that many people could relate. It wasn't a surprise that people started to subscribe to his channel and join his Patreon. Slowly, the recruitment started. Recruitment Tactics. Throughout his YouTube career, he switched styles many times. He talked about his life, interviews, and even gaming. But what really sparked the interest of the public was where he found his perfect niche audience. We know that real cult leaders employ various recruitment tactics to attract followers. This may include targeting vulnerable individuals who are experiencing personal crisis, loneliness, or dissatisfaction with their lives. Cults often use depictive or manipulative techniques, such as love, to draw people in. MamaMax did this perfectly by choosing a vulnerable audience he could profit off and use. This information comes from the research and the comments I received on my previous video, where everything is detailed in great depth. Isolation. MamaMax then applied the second rule in the book, which is aimed at creating a sense of exclusivity and loyalty among his true supporters. He accomplished this by creating a form of isolation between the casual viewer and his devoted fanbase. To achieve this, he created a Discord channel that can be accessed only by his true supporters. It had a really weak entry barrier, but that's besides the point. In addition, he also set up a Patreon page where he posted exclusive content for those who desire to delve deeper into his ideology and pay him a few bucks for doing that. By doing this, he effectively managed to create a tighter grip on his fanbase and maintain a sense of loyalty among his followers. This approach not only allowed MamaMax to create a devoted fanbase, but also allowed him to maintain control and influence over his supporters, which he would later use to leverage to meet his objectives, which were mostly harassing and doxing people, as we already covered previously. Control. In many cults, leaders often use various tactics to manipulate the beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors of their members to align with their agenda. This was the same case here. These techniques can range from promoting a rigid belief system, discouraging critical thinking, and inducing fear or guilt to gain compliance. Now, MamaMax wasn't that radical, but he did change his name to Salvatore, which translates from Italian to savior, to appear more genuine and to gain support from his followers. A bit weird, I know, but let's continue. MamaMax also used guilt tripping as a tactic to gain support from his followers. Remember the time where he asked his followers to trend the hashtag #AnswerUsPube or pick a side. He was using scare tactics and guilt tripping to pressure those who were also not on his side. The premise was simple here. Either you support MamaMax and his ideology, or you're a PDF supporter. It's very simple. This created an environment where people felt pursued to choose a side between Max or the PDFs, even if they didn't agree with him. These tactics, used by MamaMax, caused a lot of drama along the way, as people who didn't support him criticized him because of his manipulative behaviors. But this didn't stop Max from using his power to exploit others. Exploitation. Like every real cult leader, he exploited their followers not only for financial gain, but also for labor, like spreading the message of Max and his hashtags. This was also a time we could see how Max was using his fanbase. Cult leaders would often encourage members to donate money or assets to the cult, working long hours for little or no pay, or to engage in other forms of exploitation to benefit the leader or the organization. This was exactly that. MamaMax wanted to create a storm that would drive hype about his movement. This could be only considered as using his fanbase to support his cause. The start of his, let's say, new era of his channel was noble, but this felt much more like a private battle he had against YouTube for striking his videos than anything else. Not only that, but also for every YouTuber who didn't want to help him in his crusade. This is where he threw Charlie under the bus, this is where he used Mudahar as a credibility card, and this was also the time when his fans flooded Tommy C's streams. Tommy C definitely received many foul messages, even coming out and explaining how he was a victim himself, and that's why MamaMax bothered him so much. Again, this didn't stop Max from showing his real side. GodsCult in a nutshell. We discussed what cults are, how they are using selected members to spread their messages and create a false sense of hope and community. Throughout the video we saw how MamaMax's ideas align with the cult's beliefs. But this is not the end of the story. As some of you know, Max even changed his name to GodsCult. Even if it was for a brief moment, Max did receive heavy blows because of this, because people thought he was hacked. Also, GodsCult was a reference to his quote, "Guard our daughters and sons, #gods." Although Max's Patreon number is now hidden, it was evident from screenshots and third-party apps that he gained almost 4,000 Patreons on his crusades to hunt down PDFs. The lowest membership tier on Patreon is $5, with tiers as high as $50, $100 and even $1,000. Even if we consider only the lowest tier, Max received almost $20,000 a month through Patreon alone. Not including streams and not including his videos, but his videos were mostly strikes, so I don't think he made any revenue because of them. But again, you heard me right, almost 20k per month, and he only produced a video like every 3 months. We can argue that producing such videos and hunting down Predator is definitely hard. But some of you already know the story of Max. Many SA victims wanted to believe in Max, and some saw a noble knight and just wanted to help him. However, on the other side, Max wasn't shy either to beg people to join his Patreon. He also used his fanbase he acquired to diss YouTube and create chaos along the way to the top. Max attacked smaller YouTubers, betrayed friends, and used dirty tricks to claim fame. Is it possible to say that MamaMax really created a cult, or at least wanted to create one? Considering how he used his fanbase to flood Tommy C's streams and attack him personally, he also started a movement where he split everyone into 2 categories, simply dividing in a group of his supporters or a PDF. A classic way used by MamaMax to get rid of the people in his way. The way he sneaks 1-second messages in his videos is also similar to something what a cult leader would do. Max was, or still is, on a hunt for an alleged vampire cult leader, and along the way may have become one himself. He is currently losing subscribers and Patreon and is leaving us in silence without telling us much about what is going on. The investigation of his cult is still going on. However, we analyzed the various aspects of his life in the previous video and found that many things don't align. Max faked many things and lied to his fanbase about catching PDFs. I mean, this is a huge red flag. his credibility is almost non-existent, and all the patrons were giving him money because he was hunting them down, and Max was lying about that. MamaMax made many enemies and did many immoral things while he was on the rise. It is really hard to tell if this all was just to feed his ego, or like he says, this was all a drama stunt for the victims to get a wider exposure. The saddest part is that so many people commented on my last videos talking about how they were following MamaMax and felt deceived. This is the story of MamaMax and the God cult. Now, did MamaMax created a real cult or not? I leave it to you to decide. With the evidence I provided, there are definitely many types of cults around, some are more harmful than others, but if you bleed money from your followers, lying to them, and pushing your agenda onto your followers is definitely something that needs to be put in question. And that's the reason behind this video. It's really hard to tell, that's why I'm curious what is your stand on this situation. If you find this video any good, consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, or consider joining my Patreon, which will help me to produce more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until the next time, bye.